First one comes from somebody that you might know, mutual friend of ours. That's what Josh said today. He says, that's Josh, by the way. He says, we want to know what it was like on the Hōkūle'a.
Oh.
Yeah, so I know you have some history with the Hōkūle'a, so
yes.
Tell us about that.
That was incredible. It was, I think, had a lot. It fulfilled my soul a lot, but it's hard work. I mean, that's hard work. Being part of an experience like the va'a, especially the va'a of that size and what it stands for too. So, back when I was doing radio, I had we wanted to encourage. Well, Hōkūle'a is symbolic to the Renaissance, the Hawaiian Renaissance. And, when it was launched back in 75, 78, 89, whenever it was launched, that was a symbol of the resurgence of Native Hawaiian things. That combined with Hōkūle'a and the occupation by Walter and George and all of the boys, that signaled a sense of activism, right? So it actually kick-started the Renaissance, the Native Hawaiian Renaissance, that and other things as well. The Hōkūle'a had a specific function in that, and that was, we come from a brilliant people who could sail with no means of modern navigational equipment, who navigated by the stars, by the winds, by the waves, by nature. We became one with. That was the science of the wayfinding, right? So the brilliance of that in and of itself, we were able to, it was a resurgence, if you will. So what we did was, while we were on the radio, we wanted the children of Hawaii to experience Hōkūle'a. And I happened to be a member of the board of the Polynesian Voyaging Society at the time. And so we put a GPS system under one of the hulls so as not to compromise the wayfinding up above, because the navigators or the kalaiva'a, they got to find a star, right? And we didn't want any modern navigational means to help. But the children could follow the canoe. So for those in the DOE and the schools that participated, each day, we launched. Each day we'd have a report from the deck of the Hoku, and whether I was talking, and we'd have it live on the radio. So while Kim and I were talking live on the radio to the deck, which was either Nainoa or whoever the skipper was, Achi Kalepa or whomever, they'd be giving us their particular observations. And where we are today, we're 22 degrees north, or whatever it was. And then the kids could follow, right? And we had a complete system of education system on how to track the canoe and blah, blah, blah. So going down, it's like 25 days. And when you're, both hemispheres are different. The northern hemisphere, the winds kind of circulate counterclockwise. On the southern hemisphere, they go clockwise or whatever it was. I mean, I can't recall at this point, but I do know that it's different. And then in about the maybe 10th day, you hit what is called the intertropical convergence zone, which is the equator. There's no wind into the equator. And it's what is called the doldrums. And, one of the things I remember about the doldrums is a piece of music that was Roland Casimiro then came out with a group called the Hōkūle'a. It was a musical group. Look
I
it
didn't know
up.
that.
Yeah. And all of the music was dedicated to Hoku, right? And one of the songs is called Doldrum Blues. Because literally, you're sitting and say you throw a piece of bread in the water one day, the next day you might still be there because you haven't moved.
Whoa.
So you just kind of are at the whim of the weather to get you through the equator and through the doldrums. So I'm hoping I'm being appropriate when I say that. What the canoe tries to do is to try and get as much momentum going into the doldrums as possible.
Oh, okay. Like you're getting a head start and trying to just
trying to get through it.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the other hemisphere, then the wind picks up again, and then you're into the following sea, or you move it.
So you could, if you don't have enough momentum, you could just get stuck there.
You could just get stuck there.
And then how do you get out?
Well, sometimes there has been when guys would have to bring out the paddles and actually paddle through.
Wow.
Now, if anybody needs to correct me because it's been a little while.
We get the gist of it.
But the gist is that there is a technique on how to sail a double hull canoe of that size.
Wow.
And we had to revisit some of the old techniques of sailing, obviously. But I think that, by and large, Herb Kane and Ben Finney and those who built the Hōkūle'a did an incredible job. And, it's been mirrored in many other areas of the Pacific. The wayfinding techniques, as taught by Mao Piailug from Sarawak, he came up here and he taught Nainoa guys how to wayfind, and all of the navigators. And it's Mao that we can thank for that part of the resurgence, And so what we did was for the first third from Oahu straight down to Tahiti, we did daily reports. And then I jumped on the canoe, went down to Tautira. Tautira is where the canoe, and Kualoa, by the way, over here on Oahu, is where the canoe is historically launched from.
Oh, yes, that's right.
For all sails.
Oh, by the way, I met with Frank yesterday and he told me to tell you hi. Frank Among.
Oh, Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, he's part of the family.
Yeah.
We're kind of, we're close in the sense that
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
That just reminded me.
That was very random, but tell him I said hello. So when we're down now, Tautira is where the canoe goes to rest and to be worked on, because it gets pretty battered on a 1,000-mile sail. You know what I mean? And so and then the canoe, and then the crew is, you replacing. And then from Tautira, you go to the other part of the island, which is this is the island of Tahiti, and then you launch from the other side, and then you go. Well, we went to Moorea, Raiatea, Huahine, and whenever Hoku shows up, the island stops down, and the kids come out. And during those days, anyway, I'm not quite sure what the response is now. But something that was really interesting was when we were headed to Huahine, up here in Hawaii, was I think it was Hurricane Eva. I don't think it was Iniki, it was Eva. And so we wanted to land early to find out how our families were. And so we called the island and talked to the mayor, and can we come in early? He says, no, tomorrow the island is stopping down for you, all the kids. But here's what we can do. Let's sneak you to the back of the island. You're going to come in unannounced in the dark of night. And then we'll get you folks on shore. You can call home. And then we're going to sneak you back out. and you're going to come into a triumphant arrival the next day, which is what we did. I was able to find out that my father was okay because he was on Kauai, and Kauai was getting battered. So that's part of the adventures of Hōkūle'a for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then from there, we went to, I think, Ra'iatea was a special stop because there's a Tapu Tapu Atea is a special area that is sacred, and the channel had not been, the channel to Tapu Tapu Atea had not been traveled for almost 400 years. So we were the first to head to that area. And it was extraordinary because as we made our way to Ra'iatea, there was a pod of dolphins, Nai'a, that joined the canoe. And just
what a beautiful sight.
What a sight that was, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of raining. And then there was a tahuna or a kahuna that was on shore or right offshore in the water that was chanting us in. And he chanted, it stopped raining.
Whoa.
He stopped chanting, it started to rain. It was like wild, man.
Maybe that's what somebody's doing today. They're chanting and they're stopping, they're chanting and they're stopping. That's why it rains like that.
We can't make up our minds outside there, man. Are we going to be wet or dry? But yeah, so that was a very special. And then we went to the Cook Islands from the Tahiti.
Yeah.
Went to from the societies.
Rarotonga, is that? Cook
Pardon me?
Islands? Rarotonga?
Rarotonga.
Yeah.
Went to Mauke, Maupiti, and I'm trying to remember. This is like
I mean, you're already
long
doing a
ago.
great job remembering all these names.
And we ended up in Rarotonga, and we ended up in Rarotonga for I believe was a fest pack
Oh, wow.
that was there.
Just fact.
And then after Rarotonga was a trip back home, and that's when I jumped off and came back home. And then there were like, I think maybe 7. There were other canoes that joined Hōkū from the other islands.
How long was that whole journey for you?
Let me see. I think about a month, maybe.
Wow.
About a month.
That's great. And like, you're not talking to people back at home. You're just like off the grid the whole time.
No. Well, we were, I was a communications guy.
Oh,
So I was on the radio constantly.
yeah.
Well, talking. And so I was in touch.
Okay. Like daily kind or?
Daily. This
Oh.
was daily reports.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But like from the, like in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah, from Hōkūle'a.
Oh,
Because we have.
what year was this?
You have, this was 85, I think it was.
And the communication was good back then where you could,
Oh, yeah, you got radios.
but like that reached that like from all the way to Hawaii?
Yeah. You got
Oh,
radios.
I guess I don't know how radio works.
Yeah, they're.
I was thinking like cell phones and stuff.
Oh, well, cell phones too, but by and large, radio is a mode of communication.
But it reached that far?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, wow. Oh.
Hōkūle'a has become is not only a symbol, but it is okay. There's another episode, so it came back, and we finished that. That voyage was called. Oh, before we started the voyage, I said, Nainoa, we need a name for this voyage. He said, oh, you name them. I said, I'm not naming this. So I went to see one of the aunties. And she gave me this long, like, the men and women of the sea going to da, 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 da. And it was nothing that we as communicators, like, I just saw the guys butchering this title on the news every night, right? So there was this wahine, Kiki Mo'okini. She was a retired teacher, but she sailed with us.
Hmm.
She says, I'm going to name this. And she called it No Namamo, for the generations. And that was the name of the voyage. No
Wow,
Namamo.
that's a cool one.
Yeah.
And way shorter.
And way
She
shorter
didn't say,
and easy.
na kane me na vehine a me na mamo o ke kai.
Yeah, that was wild. But I think the next, for me, most one of the important. Not that when Hōkūle'a sails, it's always important because it brings people together. It's multi-generational, and it is I guess Hawaii in action or whatever. It is important. So talk about intergenerational. So there was the next voyage. We set up a communications between. I moderated a conversation between Hōkūle'a, 6 children, elementary school kids. We were at the Peace satellite at UH, and the space shuttle. So we called Hōkū, and then we called Lacey Veach is an astronaut, or was an astronaut, who went to Punahou. So I'm a Kamehameha guy. Nainoa and Lacey Puno guys. I said, hey, in spite of that, we're going to do this. So Lacey was in the space shuttle. We talked to him. The kids asked him questions. We talked to Hōkū. We talked to Nainoa. The kids asked him questions. Then Nainoa talked to Lacey. And we're having this triple conversation between the space shuttle, the Hōkūle'a, and the kids.
Whoa.
It was extraordinary.
That's crazy.
And the most modern means of transportation in our time was talking to the most modern means of transportation in ancient times. It was pretty interesting.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And the kids were so...
They probably didn't even understand what was going on.
Well, the level of, it was for them, I guess it was like every day I get to talk like this, or maybe not. But the questions were very, very elementary in the sense that, where do you go to the bathroom? Where you brush your teeth, right? And and the guys were just, it was so great for us to be a part of that experience. In fact, I got them. I'll send it to you. We have it on tape.
Oh, I would love to watch that. That's super cool. They should put it on Netflix or something.
It's a pretty wild episode.
Okay, cool.
I'll get it to you.
Well, mahalo for sharing that story. That's amazing. I've never been on the Hōkūle'a, but if they ever go to Madagascar, I would love to be a part of that voyage somehow. Or because I lived in Madagascar for 3 years.
Is that
in
right?
the Peace Corps. I was in the Peace Corps. So I would love to be part of that journey somehow, because they were supposed to come to Madagascar when I was there. I was there from 2016 to 2019, and they ended up, I think, going to South Africa instead or something.
Yeah.
They for some reason they switched their course.
What was? Oh yeah, that was a worldwide sail.
Yeah.
Why did you go to Madagascar? What's that place like?
I was in the Peace Corps, so I was volunteering.
No, what's the climate like?
Similar to here. You go to the coast, it's very green, very vibrant, and there's beaches and island life.
What's the vibe like?
Ohana style. Everybody's really nice. Everybody's friendly. The wildlife is similar to here.
Yeah.
But you go up to the countryside or the mount. What do we call it? The highlands. The highlands. That's where I live, and it's really cold and flat. Flat lands or skinny trees, stuff like that.
Urban, suburban.
I mean, the city.
Rural?
They have the cities. They have urban, but it's one of the poorest countries in the world. Yeah. People live off less than $1 a day, so everybody got their rice fields, and even inside of the city, and it's very there's no middle class. Yeah, it's people are rich, people are poor. That's kind of how it is. Very corrupt.
Yeah.
But people are nice. They're hard workers. They do what they got to do.
When you go to some place like Madagascar, what's the mission of the Peace Corps?
That's just, it's to help people in developing countries and educate them or fulfill certain needs. So there's different sectors. There's education, youth and development, agriculture, health, and a couple other ones.
Where were you?
I was in education. So I never taught English before, but I was put in the education sector. So I taught English for 2 years in a rural community. And then I extended for a year and I worked with a community health organization called JSI. It was under USAID. So I did their communication, and we went to a lot of the countrysides and did visits and helped with like health stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's quite a commitment.
Yeah, 2 years, but it was a blessing in disguise because I loved it so much. And Madagascar became my second home. And especially with the connection with the language, the Malagasy language and the Hawaiian language, it's in the same Austronesian family.
Oh, really?
So it was like,
There's similarities, huh?
Yeah, a lot of similarities. So I would love to go back, if not with the Hōkūle'a, just to go and visit.
Yeah, we got to get you on a Hōkūle'a.
Yeah.
There's also other double hull canoes. Excuse me, other double hull canoes like the Hawaii Loa.
Mm-hmm.
Kona has one. Kauai has one. Maui has one.
Yeah.
The
Hikianalia, is that what it's called?
Hikianalia.
Hikianalia. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole family and that's that came out of Hōkū. So
amazing. It's
right
so cool you got
that.
to be part of that experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Mahalo for sharing that.